Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm John here at Slapshotbricks. Unfortunately, we're going to be kicking off today's video by breaking down this beautiful Haunted Kingdom Castle alternate build. If you guys are curious to see what this is all about, make sure to go check out my previous video. I had a lot of fun building this and even more fun creating the Disney story behind this set. Today, we are going to be parting this out and turning into another exciting Haunted alternate build. And just like what we did for the Haunted Kingdom Castle, we are going to head on over to my favorite website, Rebrickable.com. We are going to be building the Haunted Tavern designed by BrickATive. This consists of 1,427 parts. The instructions are going to cost you $10 USD, and unfortunately, you're going to need a few extra pieces in addition to 2 copies of the 3-in-1 Haunted Mansion. The 186 extra pieces are going to cost you roughly $21, so not too bad. Thankfully, I was able to pull all the necessary parts from our inventory, and I'm very much looking forward to building this particular model because a lot of you guys said you wanted to see this particular alternate build. However, this small corner building also apparently would look really good in a Lego city. BrickATive has some nice pictures here with this set next to the bookshop as well as a Tudor corner, so I'm really excited to see how this is going to look. Let's get started. So I just got done breaking down the Haunted Kingdom Castle. Keep in mind that this is 3 copies worth in parts of the Creator 3-in-1 Haunted Mansion set. Here we have all of our minifigs, all of our tile, small plate, large and medium plate. Then we have a majority of our brick pieces. Here are all the miscellaneous parts, black slope pieces, and then all of our specialty pieces. Over here in this bin is the additional 186 pieces that you need for this build. And then I also went ahead and created a 16x32 dark bluish gray Mills plate where the Haunted Tavern is going to sit on top of. I wanted to do it this way just because we are going to be starting the city here at some point, and I wanted to get better and practice making Mills plates so that when we do start the city, I'm much better at it. So after roughly 2.5 hours of building, I have successfully completed the Haunted Tavern. Now, before I review the build and show it off to you guys, I want to give you a little backstory for today's video. So the Haunted Tavern actually goes by the name Broomsticks and is owned by 3 witches who are unfortunately struggling a bit financially, and they're gonna have to do something pretty drastic if they want to keep their establishment afloat and prevent it from going into bankruptcy. Without further ado, here is the Haunted Tavern designed by BrickATive. Let's start off our mini review with a 360 spin of the set so you all can see all 4 sides. It does have a partially open back, which I do think is a good thing, and we'll get more into that later in the video. I also want to mention that I had no problems whatsoever with the instructions, and the build process was very enjoyable. Starting off with the main level of the tavern, we have outdoor seating, which is very convenient for any customers that would like to eat outside. There's a main entrance as well as a side entrance, and both doors swing open, which is great. We have some phenomenal part usage here with the front gates of the Creator 3-in-1 Haunted Mansion now being utilized as an awning here for the Haunted Tavern. The eyes above the main entrance are such a fantastic touch because it really adds to the spooky vibe that this set has. And then the last thing that I want to call out here is the pumpkin lanterns just above the awning. They look great as well. You'll also notice that there's several windows on the front of the tavern as well as on the side here, and I think BrickATive did a phenomenal job utilizing these window pieces because this is exactly what you'd expect to see on a tavern or any sort of restaurant. The owner is going to want there to be windows so that people walking by can see other people, or monsters in this case, enjoying meals and having a good time so that it encourages more customers to walk in the door. I also love the placement of the 1x4 wood panel tiles because once again, it really makes this build truly feel like a tavern. Now rotating the build 90 degrees once again, we get our first look inside the set, and I'm actually okay that this has an open back because it allows you to not only see all the details, but get in there, play some minifigs, and have some fun. To give you all a better look inside on the first floor, I'm going to remove the top portion of the tavern, and it's great that it's designed to allow you to do this. I'm even going to take it one step further and remove this piece here as well so you can get an even better look. Here on the first floor, we do have more seating for guests that would like to dine. There's also a full bar complete with wine glasses behind the counter. We have the continuation of the spooky eye branding, which is great, and I think this is a perfect spot for the 2x2 printed tiles of the Haunted Mansion as well as the female vampire. Now on the other side of the first first floor, there is a beautiful spiral staircase that will lead you up to the second floor, and the design of this staircase with the limited parts that the designer had is truly incredible. And speaking of the second floor, I'm going to place the top portion of the Haunted Tavern back in place so we can check it out. Now, I would love to be able to take off the roof so I could give you guys a better look into the second floor. Unfortunately, with all these layers of bricks, it would take me quite a while to dismantle the roof portion, so I'm gonna leave it intact. However, we can still get a pretty good look at the second floor from here. We have a larger table with 4 seats, and I would imagine this area might be meant for VIPs or more special guests compared to regular foot traffic that would come in through the door. We have some cool monuments in the background with the skeleton heads as well as some chains hanging from the curtains. And then the last thing that is noteworthy is we have our second 2x2 printed tile featuring the Lady Vampire. So we're going to rotate the set 90 degrees once again, and you will see that this entire side is a solid brick wall. Although I do want to point out, I think the designer did a great job spreading out his masonry bricks and not clumping all of them together in one section. Spinning the set 90 degrees once again, you'll notice that the second floor is made up of a very aesthetically pleasing window pattern, complete with flower boxes. The light bluish gray pillars are also used on each side of the windows, and it adds a ton of support to the upper portion of the Haunted Tavern structure. The last portion of the build here that we haven't mentioned is the roof section, where BrickATive wisely used the black slope pieces to concave upward. There's also a beautiful brick-built chimney, and he added the bats as nice little decoration pieces. Now, I think BrickATive did a phenomenal job with this set. To get back to our story though, I did have to add a little branding of my own because this establishment does go by the name Broomsticks. And Broomsticks, unfortunately, has really been struggling to get customers in the door. Most of the time the tavern is empty, with the exception of this one customer who just cannot get enough of their sandwiches. The witches knew they were going to have to do something different if they wanted to increase foot traffic and save their tavern business. One of them had an idea. It was something they had never done before and was very risky, but they were willing to try anything at this point. One of the most popular vampire bands, the Bloodsuckers, were playing at a nearby venue not too far away from the tavern. The witches decided to call the Bloodsuckers agent to see if they had plans yet to do an after party once the concert was finished. Unfortunately, they already did at another venue. Desperate for business, the witches decided to offer the Bloodsuckers agent triple whatever the other establishment was paying them if they decided to have their after party at the tavern instead. Being all about the money, the Bloodsuckers agent accepted their offer without any hesitation. There was just one big problem. The witches could barely afford to pay the Bloodsuckers their normal rate for an after party, let alone triple. They were now putting the faith of their entire business in the hands of one popular band. If Broomsticks was to survive to see another day, that would mean the Bloodsuckers band was going to have to bring over hundreds of customers. A few hours later, the Bloodsuckers band arrived and the witches moved them up to the second floor and got them comfortable in the VIP area. As the witches catered to the Bloodsuckers every food and beverage request, they began to get extremely worried as they noticed not a single fan had followed the band from the concert to the after party. The agent was beginning to get worried too when she quickly realized she hadn't tweeted out the new location for the Bloodsuckers after party. Within seconds of the agent's tweet being complete, dozens of Bloodsuckers fans showed up wondering where the band was and demanded pictures and autographs. In fact, busloads of zombies, monsters, goblins, and ghouls from all over the tri-state area quickly flooded to the Broomsticks Tavern. There were actually so many fans trying to get into the tavern that the witches had to call some werewolves for security so that things wouldn't get out of hand. The witches had a very long night of work ahead of them. However, it appeared their gamble paid off and the Broomsticks Tavern would live on to serve the community for many more moons. So what do you all think about the Haunted Tavern designed by BrickATive? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. I think it's a fantastic build and I had a lot of fun curating this little story to go along with this set. If you guys are enjoying these stories and all of these custom minifigures, make sure to hit that like button. I'm having a lot of fun here on the channel and I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. If you'd like to see more videos like this from us, make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on any of our future content. Plus, we would love to have you join our Slapshotbricks family, and it's free to subscribe. So with that being said, don't stop shooting until you score, and you can watch more of our LEGO videos on the end screen now.